All right, I've been sitting here thinking the best way to approach this, and I think it's just going to have to be a long video. And we're going to go through a lot of different things here. Um, what the end result will hopefully be is that the Crocodile Hunter, which you see up here, well, you can kind of see it's cut off there, but tool to hunt fake eNodeBs essentially does a survey of LTE 4G base stations. And so what we need to do is need to update a few things. So I'm recording this on the latest DragonOS Focal, and then we also have a Raspberry Pi loaded with DragonOS as well. And there's some slight differences in the two, and I didn't realize till now. The DragonOS Focal has a slightly older version of Crocodile Hunter. It doesn't have the latest changes that will make this API thing work the way that I want to see it work. Long story short, we need to grab the. We can do this a couple different ways, but I'm trying to run this through my head. If you download, um, let's see, I did this already, but we download a zip file, and let's see, we'll unzip the Crocodile Hunter, which I think I've already did. And what we should be able to do is we'll go into the Crocodile Hunter master source, and we'll do a sudo copy a little star py. So all the py files, which are where all the changes are at, we're going to copy that to user source Crocodile Hunter source src. And what we want to do is we're going to make a couple changes here. Go into what we just copied over, and let's see, a couple things too before we even do that. Take a look at this bootstrap.sh. I've commented out the if statement here. Matter of fact, you can just comment out between the if and the fi. Comment that out. I comment out the make because that's already done. We don't need to do that each time we start up Crocodile Hunter. It's already built. The other thing is I'm going to be running the SDR, which is a bladeRF in this case, on the laptop. And so what I found, I think I might have covered this before, but if we go into this SRS LTE folder and we edit the CMake list file, you could pass an argument to do this, but I just do this so that I can remember. We come down a little bit, and by default, UHD and bladeRF are on, SOAP SDR is off. And for the most part, you can run a bladeRF with UHD on. I just find that because DragonOS has all the drivers, UHD kind of takes over. And for running this long term, I've found that it kind of dies out and has to restart and so on and so forth. So what I did is disabled UHD, only leave the bladeRF on. Save and close the file. Now keep in mind it's just for the bladeRF. If you have a Edis B205 or whatever, you don't need to make these changes. If we might as well just make this easier. If we remove the build directory, make it again, change into build, sudo cmake, and you set sudo space cmake space dot dot to set this up. Set the make file up, and this is going to take a little while. You don't run sudo make install. You don't need to do that. You just sudo make. And while that's doing that, we'll open up another window while that's building. Now, obviously, if you're doing this on a Pi, it's going to take a lot longer. You might want to shut down the desktop environment and do it completely from the terminal. or maybe add some swap space so you can make sure you don't run out of RAM when you're trying to compile this. But in user source, let me think here, Crocodile Hunter source, let's edit the API client, I believe. And we're looking for a line right here under make API URL. Just change this to HTTP. Close and save that. So what we're going to do is this is going to be the um, client that's running Crocodile Hunter and doing the survey, and we're going to send our information to a server. In this case, it'll be on the Pi here in a second. So we're just getting set up to do this. Let me think what else. We also want to edit the database. I noticed probably should submit a merge request or something to the Crocodile Hunter page. Where is this at? Tower. There's a slight bug in here. We come down to class towers. Now I never noticed this before because the issue, or this wasn't present in the older or what's currently in DragonOS Focal. We're going to change those 3 lines from false to true. We'll save that, and I think the only other thing I did was sudo pip 3-r, and I'm really leery on changing what's there, but there was a couple packages that were updated. And so if you run sudo pip 3-r requirements, it shouldn't mess, and I'm going to have to check this, shouldn't mess anything else up with DragonOS. It's only a couple, and I can't think of anything else that use those packages. That'll pull in certain versions. If you look at the requirements file, I think like human friendly, Jinja, Mako, and I don't know, maybe like 2 other, something with Flask. But I think it'll run just fine, even if you don't do that. Let's see, we also need to edit the config.ini. So this will not be filled out all the way when you first start up the Crocodile Hunter. You can put in your wiggle name and key if you have one, the OpenCell ID, or sorry, key if you were able to get one of those. And well, this is, ignore this. You don't want to change the GPSD, that'll just be localhost. That was me just messing up the API. So by default, this API will be 0000, and I changed that to the IP address that is the Pi, and so that's where the API is going to come in. Let's see. These are different profiles that I was messing with during my testing here. So, all right. We're going to close and save that. Well, I guess I should point out, the way I'm making this work is I've manually filled in some of these myself. Normally that would have to get filled in with wiggle or whatever, but you can fill in known ones in your area to do a survey on. I'm going to use only one that I will set up here in a second, but that's fine for now. Okay, let's see what else. All right, something else I've not really covered. We want to, so this is done, that's built. So now it'll just use the bladeRF drivers. Let's see. One of these. Okay. So what we're going to do now is connect to the MySQL Marina database that's in DragonOS. And we'll do it just like I'm showing here. And we can do show databases. So we see we've got a few there. I'm going to, let's see, I'm going to drop some databases here. And we'll drop test 3 and test. Now you're going to have default, and if you run Crocodile Hunter or you have without specifying a project, it'll fill in default. And what you need to do is well, you may need to do this over under the issues. There was a problem with unknown tower API data key, and it tells you to run the following on your project. So if you already have a database filled with Crocodile Hunter information, you'll want to copy and paste this, and you can, let's see, you can, oops, let's see, so we will use default, and you can apply that table to it. You can see if it's needed. I'll probably get a duplicate because I've already did that. Now that should set everything default where we need it. Okay, so we shouldn't have to mess with the database anymore. We should be able to come over, and we're going to run sudo Crocodile Hunter. Let's do the H for help, and we want to make a new project, which will make a new database. I'll just call it YouTube for this video, and we'll disable GPS and we'll disable wiggle. Okay, run that. It's going to say the wiggle is disabled, so you need to copy a list into the project. So now if we look, we'll just take this line here. We'll see we've got YouTube, copy, paste. Okay. That YouTube should have went into the MySQL database. I think we are all set up on here, and this is what we want to get to, where we're sending tower information over to the Pi. So now let's go over to the Pi. We will essentially basically go through the same process. Let's see. User source. We'll just make sure we're all on the same page here. Yep. Changing the user source. Crocodile Hunter source. And we will also do the same thing with the bootstrap, so we don't have to see it constantly building. I'm not running an SDR in here in this end, so I'm not too worried about rebuilding Crocodile Hunter right now, but we will, just so we can make sure we're doing everything. Don't really need to change the client side to HTTP because this is just going to be the server, but just to show this again, you will close and save that. We can edit the database one more time, come down, looking for that class tower. Change it to true. Edit, save that, and let me think what else. Okay, we want the server, the host is on 000. That's fine. Port. Okay. Let's see, what else do we need? So now I think we should be, can't think of anything else. We should be set up. Well, we can take a look. Same thing, you can connect to the database on this side. Use names, or you want to use root and Dragon. Now this Crocodile Hunter API, this will get populated in a database once you run the server. Let's see, let's see, you are, let's drop this test3 and we'll recreate it. Test3. Well, actually, I'm just going to make YouTube anyways. So now if we do, or we're in the user source, Crocodile Hunter source, and we do sudo python 3 API server. Okay, that should start the server. Now we're going to go back to the desktop. And let's see, we want to, somewhere in here, under API. The other thing I noticed is that this command is wrong. So we want to export server. Okay, so it's going to be a little different here. We're going to export, we'll call this YouTube. We'll do a sudo python 3 API client sign up. Yeah, should be good. You should see this. Let's see, we'll put dragon at mail.com, and we'll do demo for YouTube, I think is okay. Or we'll just put demo, keep it simple. Okay, we see we've got a connection to the server. Add user dragon mail. Okay, now I would have taken a little more time and I would have did this over like a VPN. That was kind of my goal, but that would have extended this video out even longer. So we've got that connection to the server. Let me think. So we got the connection to the server. So now if I run the Crocodile Hunter with the -p YouTube, I'm just disabling GPS. I've talked about that before and showed how to set it up, and I'm disabling wiggle. I'm going to let's see. I'm going to run that. I'm going to push it to the background because we don't need to be seeing any of the results there. I'll just show what it looks like when you start it up with the blade only. So you'll see it's using the IRFs and lists. It'll stay here for a second. It'll get everything ready, and then it'll start running. I'll make sure it starts running here. Maybe. Okay, so tower frequency. Let's So I don't have a cell ID, and the reason why it looks different than what I expected is if you need to see debug is what I normally have on, and I can see that the SDR is starting up. And let's see, so if I add -D, it'll look a little different, and I'm just going to minimize the screen here. So you can see, there you go, it started scanning. That's going to run in the background. You can pull up a web page on 0000 port 5000, and once this starts getting accurate information, and of course if you had GPS and other database stuff, it's not going to be in the middle of the ocean, and that's that part. So now we should be getting information into the database. And so what we can do is, we're in that same user source, Crocodile Hunter source. You're going to run this client script with the -P for the project. This is where it's not been updated on the GitHub page, and then you can run add tower, or you can specify add towers, or the other one was register user or whatever it was, and then statistics. So I'm going to add towers, and that should show that you can have your client send to, so you could have multiple clients. And what I would recommend is having a cron job or something running this, so that your clients can regularly send the information back to the one instance of the Crocodile Hunter, where all the information will be saved, almost like your own little a wiggle database for certain types of information. So let's try this. It should have been running long enough. Hopefully we've got some tower information, and so we'll run this. And we can see that we have sent some information back to the server here. And if I were to go into the MySQL MarianaDB and look, I would see that information in there. Also, if I were to, which is kind of weird, I thought that there would be seemed to describe a web page where you could go and see the statistics. But if you pull open this, and maybe there's something somewhere else, if you pull this open, you just get the internal server error. But if you shut down, which maybe I need to look into this contact thing, but if you actually, I'll take a look at that later. But if you shut down the server and you run sudo Crocodile Hunter, let's see, if you were to do -P YouTube -O and do the web only, then go to that port 5000 local host or 000, then you would be able to see the map with all of the and all the data that was sent. So that was one of the big changes to within the last little bit of commits, I think over a year ago, that was put into Crocodile Hunter to change that. So hopefully, I wish I could like fully show everything running with a GPS and all that stuff, but for obvious reasons, and for this just little setup here, that's about all I can show. But that should get you on your way to updating and using the Crocodile Hunter. All right, thanks.